What's wrong with Angela?
Final thoughts? What are you thinking?
What's wrong with Angela?
Big Brother 28 is upon us, and there is nothing truly like the hope and excitement of a Big Brother preseason. I am somebody who has been a longtime Big Brother fan, and I only recently started this YouTube channel, so I am extremely excited because this is the first full season of Big Brother that I am going to be talking about on this channel. I thought it would be fun to get in on the ground floor before the season starts and make a couple of predictions and also draft a couple of the players that I think have the best potential to win, and then look back on my thoughts in the mid-season and then again at the end season to see if any of my predictions came true and to see how well my draft team does in this game of Big Brother. Today, I'm going to be going through the recently announced Big Brother cast list, and for reference, this list just came out yesterday. Today is Wednesday, and tomorrow is the season premiere. I don't know how long it's going to take me to edit this video, so by the time this video gets uploaded, we are going to be a little bit into the season, and some of these people might already be disappointing me. So I think that's going to be fun, but just keep in mind, today is Wednesday, the day before the season premiere, Wednesday, July 8th. I am going to be going through these people one by one, analyzing their cast bios, making some quick judgments based off of the very little information we have on them, and then picking my draft team. So let's get on into it. Before I officially get into talking about the first cast member, I just want to put out a quick disclaimer that I am making judgments on these people based off of very little information. I have only looked at what CBS has given out to the press and what they have put up online, which are these really short video introductions of the cast members. So if I am not liking somebody right now, I could very well like them later on down the line and vice versa. And I think that's the thing that always happens in a Big Brother season is people we think we're going to like, we end up being disappointed by, and people we didn't think that were going to give us anything end up being great TV. So I just wanted to make note that these are all quick judgments and assumptions made off of very little information. And also, I don't love the questions that CBS decided to ask the cast members. I think some of the questions are kind of dumb and don't let the cast members really elaborate on how they're going to play the game. So I'm just leaving that out there too, is that with some of these questions, it's even harder to gauge some of these people and what they're going to do because the questions are kind of random. But anyways, let's get on into it. Our first cast member is Ashley, the 24-year-old bartender. Ashley says that she has been watching the show since she was a little girl. She says she fell off, but then recently got back into it. I'm getting the vibes that she's more of a casual fan, episode watcher. And I also want to say, when I call somebody a casual fan, I'm not doing that in any type of derogatory way. It's just how I'm gauging these people based on their relationship with the show. And that is one of the questions that it seems like CBS asked these people quite a few times, is what their relationship with the show is. And I think on this cast, we do have a lot of house guests claiming to be episode watchers, casual fans. So I'm not saying casual fan in a derogatory way, although I do think it's more of an advantage the bigger the fan you are. And if you are a person who has watched live feeds, I think that could be a big advantage in the game, but I will talk more about that later on. Ashley talks about wanting to get into a powerful alliance. I'm thinking that she's talking about wanting to get into that initial majority power alliance that usually forms in the early days of the game. And of course, it's something that a lot of players are going to be wanting to do. I really do get good vibes from Ashley. She talks about being willing to backstab. And she also talks about needing the money and doing anything for the money, which is the kind of energy I have been wanting to see on Big Brother for quite some time now. I feel like we used to get that energy all the time in the past, but recently on reality TV, a lot of people are just here to be on TV and have a good time and grow their social media followings. But I'm really excited because Ashley seems like she is ready to get in there and play. I think she has a very fun personality from her interviews, and I think she's going to be somebody that a lot of people are going to want to be friends with, which is good for her social game. I do definitely get the feeling that Ashley could be a possible contender for somebody who gets in a showmance, which isn't necessarily bad because showmances do tend to make it pretty far in the game, but she does sound like from her interviews that she's ready to get in there and play. She talks a lot about wanting to be a strategic thinker within the game, and I hope other people with that type of mindset will want to team up with her. Overall, I like Ashley so far. If she comes in and she's not as ready to get in there and play as she's been saying in these bios, I could see her as somebody that like gets in that majority alliance early on, but then doesn't do much for the rest of the game. She kind of like sits back and coasts by for a bit, which is kind of boring to me, but I definitely am hoping that Ashley follows through on the things that she says she wants to do, which is to get in there and play and stab people in the back if she has to, and keep her eye on the prize. Next up, we have Barrett, the 27-year-old Jumbotron engineer. I am also really excited about Barrett because I have seen online that Barrett is a true Big Brother superfan. He's a live feeds watcher. He even talks in his bio about how he has been watching the live feeds since he was a little kid. He mentions watching Keisha's birthday play out in his living room on Big Brother After Dark when he was only 8 years old, which sounds extremely promising to me. Also, I went online for a couple of these people trying to research them. I haven't had a whole lot of time to research them yet, but friend of the channel, Ethanimal, and I say friend of the channel, but I do not personally know Ethanimal, but he has commented on one of my previous videos, so I consider him a friend of the channel. You could be a friend of the channel too if you comment down below, but Ethanimal, who is a popular Big Brother YouTuber and a person who is very popular in the reality TV spaces, has said and confirmed that Barrett is a true fan and that he has been on Barrett's Big Brother podcast. And I did a little bit of research myself and found that Barrett, in fact, has been doing a Big Brother podcast with his friends for quite a few years now. He's very much in the online Big Brother space. He's within the Big Brother Twitter, Big Brother Instagram kind of groups of people, and this is really promising to me. I think being a super fan is a bit of an advantage going into the Big Brother game because these super fans just know how the game works. They've seen how things play out on the live feeds. They see how fast that the house can change. They know the type of things that they have to do. I don't think just being a super fan means that a person is going to be a good player. We have seen super fans not be good players, but I do think it means that they have a bit of an advantage and they have the potential to be a great player. I'm also partial to superfans from the entertainment aspect of the show because superfans are there because they absolutely love the show and they 100% want to win. They're not just there to grow their social media following. They want to win the game, and I love people who come in with that sort of energy, who will do whatever it takes to win. Another interesting thing that Barrett said in his interviews was that he thinks he's going to be a villain, even if that doesn't bode well with America. As of right now, he's giving off the confidence of a person who is willing to lie and backstab, and I'm excited to see how well he is going to follow through with that. The one thing that I'm a little bit on the fence about when it comes to Barrett is that he did say that he can't help himself when it comes to a showmance, which I think could be a little bit of something to worry about regarding his game. Once again, I don't think getting in a showmance is the worst thing for anyone's game. It actually usually helps people make it farther along, but with someone like Barrett, I can see him taking his eye off the prize because he likes somebody, maybe not always making the best decisions for his own game. And that's something to think about, especially with the way he worded it. Like, I just can't help myself, and I want him to keep his eye on the prize. So we will see. It's something to think about in regards to him and how he's going to play. The next house guest we have is Chuk, a 27-year-old supply chain analyst. Chuk has been watching Big Brother casually with his family for the last 5 years. He seems really nice and talked up being a person who is friendly and sociable, which is kind of the vibes that I got off of his interview. So I think that could be an advantage. If I'm already feeling like he seems like a nice, friendly guy right off the bat, I think a lot of people might gravitate toward him and want to be friends with him. Chuk did say that he doesn't want to show off or look too athletic early on. He says he doesn't want to win the first competition, which I think is not always the best move. I think it is extremely smart and beneficial to be the first HOH. I think it's one of the best ways to set yourself up for a long run into the game. Although we have seen people crash and burn a first HOH, I still think it's more beneficial if you know how to play it right. But Chuk only really seems to be thinking about trying to hide his athleticism, which honestly, if I'm going into the Big Brother house and I'm seeing about half of these guys, I'm just going to be assuming that they're athletic because they all seem like big muscular guys. Chuk says his strategy is to win over the women first, which I found really interesting. He says that he can be a guy's guy, but that's not his strength within a group setting. And he is extremely confident that he is going to be able to get in there early on and make alliances with all the women in the house. I'm interested to see how this plays out. Chuk seems pretty confident, maybe a little overly confident. I think the execution of this is going to be a lot harder because I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to get the women to trust him early on. Like I said, if I'm going in the Big Brother house, I'm assuming that all of the big muscly guys are forming some sort of guys alliance straight off the bat, just because it's something that always tends to happen. So we will see. He says he has a lot of sisters, so I'm interested to see if this strategy is going to work out for him. He is very confident, but I'm not sure how the execution of that strategy is going to be. I definitely see Chuk getting into that all guys, bro-y, athletic kind of alliance at the beginning. Like, he just gives me that sort of archetype, but maybe he will prove me wrong. Overall, Chuk seems very likable. He gives me the vibe of somebody that I think has the potential to do well. I can see Chuk also getting pulled into a majority alliance that forms early on in the game because he does seem athletic and like he might be good at competitions, and also he's very friendly, so people will want to work with him, and I think that will be very beneficial to his early game. So I see Chuk sticking around for a good amount of time in Big Brother 28. The next house guest is Drew, a 22-year-old surgical dental assistant. Now, Drew seems extremely young to me, and I think that might be his biggest downfall. I do believe he is the youngest house guest, and usually that's not a big deal in the game of Big Brother because the house age tends to skew towards younger. But in Drew's interviews, I definitely can feel he just seems like a guy who is very young, and he is. He says that he has watched the show since he was 8, but he only dabbles in the live feeds and he is more of an episode watcher. He says he's open to a showmance, which I can 100% see him getting into. He seems like an okay guy, but he just seems maybe somebody that might be a little naive in the game. And I'm not saying that young people can't play the game of Big Brother, but I can say there is a difference in somebody whose frontal lobe is fully formed and fully cooked. I mean, we all saw the difference between Joseph 24 and Joseph 25. So that's just something to think about in regards to Drew. And I know there are other house guests under the age of 25, but Drew just feels very young. He gives off that vibe in the interview, and we'll see. We'll see how he does. One thing I actually did like from his interview was that he talked about adaptability, and I think that is a really smart way to think about the game. We'll see if he actually follows through on that. Whereas a lot of people come in confident with some sort of strategy that they want to do in the house, he says he wants to wait and see, get a layout of the land, and adapt his strategy based on what the house looks like and who else is there. Adaptability is very important in the Big Brother game. So if he is as adaptable as he says, I think he might be an interesting one to watch, and we'll see how he does with some of these other house guests in there. Drew feels a little overly confident to me, which is not a bad thing, but he says things like he could write a book on Big Brother. Maybe if he was more of a fan, he would know that somebody else has already done that. So we will see. He could absolutely prove me wrong, but I do see him as somebody that could be a possible early boot. And, that's just the vibes that I'm getting off of this interview. Energetic, but I'm not sure how long he's actually going to last in the game. Maybe he will prove me wrong. The next house guest is Haley, the 29-year-old telemedicine executive. I don't really know how I feel about Haley because her interview was so bland. I don't know how else to say it. She wasn't giving energy like some of the other house guests were. So it's really hard to get a gauge on how she is going to play. And, I hope maybe she was just nervous in the interview and she's going to get in the house and be really fun and entertaining. Because if I'm just going off of this interview, I don't see like fun feeds. For the people that enjoy fun feeds, I'm not getting that sort of energy from her. But she does say that she is outgoing, bubbly, and fun, although she was not giving any of that in the interview. Haley says her strategy is to sit back for a bit at the beginning of the game and wait to turn up and actually start playing as the game moves forward. I don't particularly love this strategy. I don't think it's a bad strategy. I just think for me, it's boring to watch because I want to see people get in there and play. And usually the people that have this sort of strategy are the people that will like win HOH and then say that it's too early to make a move and then make the most boring HOH week. So I'm not confident in Haley's ability to give us good entertainment, but that doesn't mean that she won't make it far in the game. It just means I'm probably going to be bored by her. Going off of this interview, she says she's open to showmances. I could absolutely see her getting into a showmance. She honestly gives me Christmas vibes, not the holiday, but the former Big Brother player. So I could see her being in a showmance. I could see her getting pulled into a majority alliance early on. She seems to look pretty fit and athletic, so she probably will be good at competitions. But she's also one of those people that, she mentioned honor and integrity in her interview. And it's also, once again, not my favorite type of player, the people that are all about honor and integrity. I think the honor and integrity people are boring to watch, but doesn't mean that they don't make it far in the game. I think if people know that she's going to be a loyal ally, they will want to pull her in because they know she's not going to flip on them. So she could have a decent run, but I don't know if she has that bit of winner's drive in her, that cutthroatness to backstab your alliance members at the last minute in order to get that Big Brother win. Since she did talk about honor and integrity, I can absolutely see her as somebody that like sticks with her alliance the entire time and doesn't always make the decisions that's best for her personal game because she thinks she's got to be loyal to some group of people. So I can see her making it far, but I don't know if she actually has that cutthroat, backstabbing, do what it takes energy to get to that final spot. It is hard to get a good read on her in this interview. She does say that she could bring the drama, which is interesting, and let's hope that maybe once she gets into the house, maybe we'll see a bit of a different side to her and maybe she will be entertaining and bring the drama. I don't think she will necessarily be bad at the game. She's just not somebody that I think I'm going to be wanting to root for. The next house guest is Jason, but a lot of people may know her as Selena, who has competed on 2 seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, I am very confused by the way that Big Brother is doing this rollout for the cast reveal, because they made a big deal about having these other reality TV people who are coming into the Big Brother game, and they didn't include Selena with that list of people that have been on prior reality competition shows, which I find really weird because Selena has been on 2 seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, I am unfamiliar with Selena. I have seen a couple of seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race, but I have not seen anything super recent, and I have not seen Selena's seasons, so I am unfamiliar with her game. But I tried to do a little bit of digging before this. I didn't do a lot, just to get a vibe and a sense to see how Jason/Selena is going to do on Big Brother. And I'm excited because he definitely seems like someone who is a reality TV fan. And he definitely seems like someone who's ready to get in there and play. Selena came in 6th place on her initial season of Drag Race and then competed on All Stars and got eliminated in the 6th episode. So I feel like Jason/Selena is ready to come in and wanting to win and do well and, third time's a charm and finally have that reality TV competition win. And I just love the vibes that I am getting from Jason. The entire interview was really fun. He seems extremely entertaining. He's going to be really fun in the house, I believe, especially after watching Haley's interview. It was like a breath of fresh air. In the interview, Jason talks about his multiple alliances that he had on his last season of Drag Race. He's somebody who has experience playing a social sort of game, making alliances, but I really liked how he also talked about this time wanting to really be smart with the alliances that he is getting into. So I feel like he experienced a little bit of it and he kind of learned from it and is hopefully going to bring what he learned into the Big Brother house, and he's going to play smart. He also says he wants to be mischievous, but in a smart way. I think overall, I'm really excited about Jason from an entertainment standpoint, and also I have high hopes that he can make it far because he seems like one of those people that is going to do everything he can to get farther along in the game. I also looked up online to try and get a sense of what other people who are more familiar with Jason as Selena on Drag Race and what they think. And I saw some people saying that they feel like Jason's going to come in there hot and ready to play. And he's going to be getting to work on day one, getting down in there and starting the game, which I love that energy. But I saw some people worry that in recent seasons, we saw people get targeted for gaming too hard at the beginning of the game. So that could be a possible detriment early on in the game if they see Jason as somebody who is coming in there and gaming too hard. So it'll be something to watch, but I really think that what's going to help him is these other reality TV people coming in there. I think they're also going to be bringing that energy because usually when veterans come in, they know how it works and they're ready to get on in and to start playing. So hopefully with that energy already in the house, I think Jason can make it far. Especially, I can also see him teaming up with the other reality people, which I think will be fun and I think will help him make it further along in the game. So I have high hopes. The next house guest is Kamu, a 32-year-old MMA coach. Kamu says he started watching around season 14 and he mentioned that he has tuned into the live streams before, but he's more of an episode guy. He's not the only person to refer to the live feeds as the live streams, which gives us a clue that these people are more casuals, which once again, not a bad thing to be a casual, but that's the sense of how familiar he is with the game. Kamu says that he doesn't want to be perceived as a physical threat, which I think is laughable since he is an MMA fighter and he 100% looks like an MMA fighter. So I don't know how that is going to work out for him in the Big Brother house, because right off the bat, if I'm in the Big Brother house, I'm saying, well, that guy looks like a physical competition threat. He mentions the phrase competing at the highest level in regards to him being a UFC fighter multiple times in this interview. And it's just that sort of wording that makes me feel like he is somebody who is going to be extremely competitive. And that's why I don't think if it came down to it, he's the type of person that would throw a competition, which is why I don't know how well it's going to work out for him in terms of lowering his physical threat level. But at the end of the day, I think even if he lost badly in the first competition, I think off of initial impressions, people are still going to see him as a physical threat because he's an MMA fighter and he looks like it. Overall, my predictions for Kamu are he's definitely going to get into the athletic all guys alliance that forms early on. He's definitely going to be like one of the leaders of the big majority alliance that forms within the first couple of days. A lot of people are going to want to work with him because he seems like he's going to be good at the competitions in terms of his physicality. And I think early on, people want to have a lot of those type of people in their alliances so they can stay safe in the long run. So I do see him as somebody who could make it far in the game, specifically just because I think he might be good at competitions, which we know that Big Brother has become so competition heavy over recent years, so it's going to be a major advantage for him. Also, the BB Blockbuster is coming back, which is another competition. So even if he is sitting on the block on an eviction night, he's got yet another chance in another competition to be able to save himself. So just somebody like that, I can see making it quite far. But I don't know for like me personally in terms of, is he going to be someone that I'm going to have a fun time watching? I don't know. He does say he's willing to stab people in the back, and we will see if he follows through on that. But I do get the impression of guy who's just good at a lot of competitions and is all about like alliance loyalty, even though he says that. And he does say that he doesn't want to be in the showmance, but I would not be surprised if he ends up in a showmance. But once again, maybe he'll prove me wrong. I feel like I say that after every person. The next house guest up is somebody I'm really excited about. She probably had my favorite interview out of the entire cast interviews that we were given by CBS so far. And she is 57 years old and she works in retail sales. I think Latrice is going to be such good TV just because I enjoyed watching her interview. She's actually energetic and bubbly, and she seems like she has a really cute personality, which I think is going to be very beneficial to her, especially because she is an older house guest, which older house guests typically have a much harder time in the Big Brother house because I think it's harder for them to make connections and fit in with the crowd of house guests that skews younger. But I can see Latrice making friends with everybody because that's just the vibes I get from her interview, which I think is going to be extremely helpful. Latrice says that she has been watching the show since season 2, and in the early years, she was big time into the show. She was a live feed watcher. She did say that she fell off for a bit, but recently got back into it again. I'm really excited because Latrice is somebody who was there and she was in it for those early on classic seasons, and maybe Latrice will give us a little bit of that sense of classic Big Brother. She says that she's going to surprise people because she's actually pretty athletic for her age. I'm interested to see if this is true. She does look really great for her age, so I wouldn't be surprised if she was, and I hope that for her because the competitions really do skew towards more physical type of competitions, unfortunately. But if she has a little bit of a fighting chance, that could be really great for her, even though I think she's going to have a much harder time competing against Kamu. But maybe the comps will be more equitable this year. Hopefully. She feels like she's going to be fun on the feeds. I think she has a great personality just in this short judgment that I'm making off of a couple minutes of an interview, but I think that is going to be extremely beneficial for her social game. I think she is going to be very well liked and somebody who a lot of people might want to work with and pull into their alliances. I do worry about her age and about inequitable comms. But I'm excited knowing that we're going to have a couple of other people that are a little bit older that hopefully maybe want to work with Latrice, including Angela and Rick Devens. Not that I'm calling any of these people actually old, but they are older than like the average age of like people in their 20s that are in the house. So I think this is going to be extremely beneficial for Latrice having a couple of other, people that are older than that average age. And I really hope that she works with people like Angela and Rick Devens. I think that will be so interesting to see. I mean, a Latrice and Angela alliance, Angela Trice. Like, let's make that a thing. Angela Trice. I want to see it happen. Overall, I'm really hopeful about Latrice's game. I want to see her be really strategic, and I hope she ends up being a really strategic player as well as a really good social player. But we will see when it comes down to it. But I'm really excited to watch Latrice. Coming up next, we have Lyric, a 25-year-old attorney. Lyric seems to be a fairly new Big Brother fan, which there's nothing wrong with. She says she's only been watching for a couple of years, but she does say that she is a big live feed watcher, so that could be something that's very beneficial to her. I'm not quite sure what to make of Lyric based off of this interview. She does seem friendly and bubbly, and I do see her getting into a showman's probably. She seems like she could be good at some of the competitions. She does mention that she works out twice a day. She seems to be pretty smart. She apparently passed the bar by the age of 23, so I can see her being someone that gets pulled into a large alliance early on, whether that be because she gets in a showman's or because I think people will see her as somebody who could potentially be good at the competitions. And she seems friendly enough that I think people will want to work with her. So I can definitely see her making a decent go at this game. I'm just not sure what else to think of her. She didn't really talk about being strategic or being cutthroat or stabbing people in the back a lot in this interview. So it's hard to get a sense for if she is willing to do that. And honestly, maybe I just have bad flashbacks from Lauren of last year. But when I see Lyric, I'm just thinking that we are getting another Lauren who is going to be quite boring. And now Lauren made it pretty far. So I guess like that strategy is perfectly fine to make a decent run at the game. But I'm just hoping that Lyric is not boring. I could potentially see her doing well, like Lauren made it pretty far in the game, but I can also see her being an early boot. She does give me the vibe of somebody that could end up on the block early on in the game and maybe just gets voted out because people don't want to make big moves early on. So I definitely can also see the other end of the spectrum where she doesn't make it far. I don't really know what to make of her because the questions weren't that great and the answers were pretty generic. Apparently, she was also on American Idol, which I find funny because there's already been a clip that has been circulating of Katy Perry telling her that she's playing it safe, which also scares me because I'm thinking if she played it safe on American Idol, we might see her play it safe on Big Brother. My fears that she is going to be yet another Lauren might be coming true based off of this Katy Perry premonition clip that's been circling around. But maybe Katy Perry knocks some sense into her and maybe Lyric won't play it safe and maybe she will prove us wrong. The next house guest up is Mallory, a 24-year-old aerospace engineer. Now, upon initial judgments, I saw Mallory and I saw her interview and I said, it's giving Kelly 2.0. And so I'm kind of like a little on the fence about her, but I know it's not right for me to just be like, this is the person they cast to be the Kelly and to make judgments based off of that because Kelly truly was unlike anything we've ever seen. And I don't think Mallory is going to be exactly like Kelly, but I think there has been hope recently as I have been trying to look up some of these house guests online to try and get a better sense of who they are. I, as well as a lot of other people, have noticed that Mallory seems different on her social media and on her Instagram and stuff. And she doesn't seem as like quirky girl archetype as it seems like she is in this interview. And a lot of people, myself included, have been speculating that maybe Mallory has been playing the Dan Giesling long game the entire time, and she played up the quirky girl Kelly archetype in order to get cast on the show. And when she walks into that house, the real personality is going to come out. So if that happens, I will be so sad and I will applaud Mallory. I mean, it's not the first time someone has done that. And Dan Giesling even recommends people playing up a character in order to get cast on the show, just like he did. And I will be pleasantly surprised if that is true. So I'm interested to see in how Mallory is going to play. She seems smart because she is a rocket scientist, and she mentioned a couple times in the interview that she is a strategic thinker, but she also said strategic thinker in a very generic way. So it's very hard for me to get a sense of what her actual strategy is going to be when going in the house and stuff, and what her mindset is going to be in terms of her gameplay. But she does seem like she's planning on trying to play a strategic game. Also, she seems kind of athletic. In the interview, they show like a clip of her, and this girl's got muscles. I think she could also make a decent run being good at some of the competitions, very much like Kelly, who happened to have been good at the competition. So my initial assumptions based on this interview was that this is going to be Kelly 2.0. I can see her getting put on the block very early on, but I can also see her being surprisingly good at some of these competitions and being able to take herself off the block in order to stick around a few more weeks. So really, like, I can't get Kelly out of my head, but after doing further research, I'm hopeful that I'm wrong and that Mallory is playing the long game and she is some sort of strategic thinker and she's playing up this Kelly archetype to get on the show. And everything that I'm saying now is not going to be true. And she's not going to be one of the first few people on the block. But initially that was the vibes I was getting from her. I guess we will see when Mallory gets into the house. Next up, we have Melody, a 24-year-old game show host. And unfortunately for Melody, based off of the first impressions, one of the first things I wrote in my notes was giving us nothing, yawning, lazy, boring. And now I don't want to be too harsh because, like I said, maybe these people are just nervous. It's their first time doing an interview in front of the camera. And this is their first impression to a lot of the fans. So I'm trying to give these people the benefit of the doubt. But the way Melody answered a lot of her questions gives me a bit of pause because she was very generic and vague. So it was extremely hard for me to get any sense of who she is or how she's going to play the game. For instance, she answered one question about what she will bring to the Big Brother house, and she said quirks and a weird variety of things. Melody says that her strategy is to try and get in a good alliance. This is what I mean when I say she was giving me nothing to go off of because these answers are so generic. I do not know how to make sense of Melody besides think that she's going to be boring, unfortunately. Two things to note in regards to Melody is one, that she says that she's extremely sensitive, which I think is not good in the game of Big Brother. I think people who are extremely sensitive have a lot harder of a time in the Big Brother house. So that is something to definitely think about if you are playing your own Big Brother drafts, okay? Also, she says that she is not open to showmances because she will get too caught up in them. So within that answer, I'm picking up the sense of she doesn't want to be in the showmance, but if she's someone that can easily get caught up into something, I can absolutely see her getting into a showmance, even if she says right now that she doesn't think it's a good idea. Just in the way that she worded that answer, like almost she can't help herself. So I can see Melody being an early boot. I can also see her being someone who gets in a showmance and coast by for a bit, but it's really hard for me to say how well she's going to do in the game because outside of her kind of coasting her way to the mid-level of the game, I don't get the sense that she's extremely strategic from this interview. I don't get the sense that she is a person with the drive of like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win the game and to backstab people. And just knowing that she's extremely sensitive, I think it's going to be harder for her to be able to turn on people if she has to. So, this is just my first impression, and maybe she's actually a strategic mastermind. We will see. Coming in next is Rome, a 28-year-old pickleball coach. Rome is new to Big Brother, so he has not seen very much of the show. Rome is interesting because he talks a lot about being overly competitive and a big competitor and being somebody who talks a lot of trash. But he also claims that he is not just a jock, because he's actually a secret nerd because he collects trading cards. He also says that he is open to a showman's surprising no one. I'm not getting good vibes with Rome. He did have a weird answer to a question where he used the words submissives and betas in regards to some of the other house guests, saying that he's going to be like the leader of the betas and the submissives or something. That kind of language makes me feel like Rome is probably somebody who watches alpha male podcast. Or some people have said maybe he's just a secret fan fiction writer. If Rome ends up surprising us and he's actually a secret fan fiction writer, I will apologize to everybody, but as of right now, I'm really getting alpha male podcast dude bro from him. He also talked about how competitive he is. I could absolutely see Rome teaming up with the other big kind of athletic looking guys like Kamu and Yash. I could see him getting HOH-itis. He gives me the vibes of somebody who is a sore winner and also a sore loser. I could see him getting very upset if him or his alliance loses an HOH. I can also see him being somebody who goes mad with power for winning HOH. So it'll be interesting to see how Rome actually plays within the house. Maybe he really is just a secret nerd and a secret fan fiction writer, but as of right now, I'm probably 90% sure Rome, Kamu, and Yash, who I haven't got to yet, are going to all team up together in some sort of alpha alliance, or Rome is going to be like, he's gonna think that he's the leader of the majority alliance. This is all speculation, by the way, judging people based off of a very short interview, so just remember that. But I've seen this archetype before, and I didn't like the ending. No. We will move on. The next house guest is Taylor, a 27-year-old school counselor. Taylor talks about being a casual viewer. She says she fell off the show for a bit, but got back into it when she was in college after going through a bad breakup. Now, one thing I gotta say about Taylor that I like her energy for is that she's coming into the game with a specific plan and a specific strategy. And I can applaud her for coming in and being someone who's ready and wanting to play the game. Does her strategy seem like it's going to be something that she can execute? No, but I like her ambition. She talks about her strategy, which she calls the Big B Blowout, which doesn't make much sense in the way she describes it, which is kind of funny. So it's a little bit confusing, but what I'm gathering from the way she explained her strategy is she's going for almost a season 3 Danielle Reyes and Jason Guy secret alliance type of strategy, except for she wants to do that with 3 people and have a final 3, and then have each person in this final 3 go off and be the leaders of a different side of the house. And what I'm guessing is what she's planning on doing is coming together every day to make sure that they manipulate the house into keeping each other safe, along the lines of what Danielle and Jason did in season 3, where they kind of kept each other safe but were working on separate sides of the house. Now, as we have seen with people who have tried to replicate the Danielle and Jason alliance in the past, it is extremely hard to execute in the game of Big Brother, and her wanting to do that with 3 people, I think, is going to make it even harder. I think one thing about Big Brother is you just don't know how the house structure is going to form until you get in there. So it's hard to like see somebody from an opposite alliance and then be like, okay, now we got to work together until the end. And I think it's also hard within that strategy, because when people are spending more time away with a different group of people, in the end, they can start to feel closer to that group of people instead of to you, the final two or the final three. And then what will end up is that even though they have this plan to keep each other safe on separate sides of the house, they're going to end up kind of just moving towards the people they're more comfortable with, which is the people that they've been talking to within their own section of the house every day. If I'm making any sense. I feel like now I'm just like Taylor, I am no longer making sense. But what I am saying is, I like that she's coming in ready to play and wanting to make an alliance off the bat and stuff. But I just think that if that's what she's talking about with her big B blowout strategy, I think it's going to be really hard to execute, because in the past we've seen people try to do similar things. And I think the last time that strategy was executed well was probably in season 3. So I will move on, because now I fear I am not making sense. I think overall, I like Taylor's personality. She seems nice. She seems like she might be fun. I can see her getting into a showmance. I think she could make it a decent way into the game if she teams up with other people who want to think strategically like her. I think she might have an easy time getting into alliances off the bat, because she seems like a nice, likable person who people will probably want to work with. But I can also see her being an early on boot, because I'm not sure how athletic she's going to be, which could be a detriment, because I think a lot of times when they're forming that majority alliance at the beginning of the game, they like to pull in a lot of people who they think are going to be good at competitions. And Taylor really didn't talk about her athletic abilities, or she didn't really talk about competitions. So I worry if she's not good at competitions, she might get left out of that majority alliance and be on the outsides of that. But I think there is hope this season in the way that the alliances are going to be formed, because we have Angela, Dee, Devens, and Jason coming in. I think that's going to kind of reshape the way that the house usually forms at the beginning of the game, because all these people have played before, and I can definitely see all these people kind of teaming up together as the reality veterans and working together early on, which I think could disrupt that early on power structure of the majority alliance of people that are all either in showmances or are really good at competitions. So I'm rambling here, but what I'm saying is maybe with the people that are in the house this season, Taylor could have the ability to get in an alliance early on, and she's around people like her who want to think strategically. I think she can make a good go in the game. If she gets left out of these big alliances being formed, that's when I could see her getting into some trouble, just because I don't know how well she's going to do at the competitions. But overall, I like her, and I'm interested to see how she plays. Lastly, for all of the new players, besides Jason, I guess, we have Yash, who is a 24-year-old financial analyst. The vibes I'm getting from Yash are interesting, because he's another person who doesn't want to give any specifics within his answers. I mean, when asked about his strategy, he refused to say what it is. He's a casual viewer. He claims he's a secret nerd. I have since seen clips of his TikTok account, and he is absolutely a finance bro kind of TikToker of, you know, the type, the day in my life as a 24-year-old finance bro type of guy, very much like Matt from Angela's season. It's the sort of energy that I'm getting from Yash, which I think is interesting considering that Angela is going to be back in the house, and this guy is feeling like Matt 2.0. So I can absolutely see Angela hating this man. I can see him butting heads with Angela if he has that same type of personality, which is how he comes off on his TikTok, at least. Much like Melody, his answers are giving us nothing. When asked if he would be a hero or a villain, he says, "I'll be exactly what I need to be based on the situation." He really does not want to give us anything to go off of here. He also says that he's good at mazes. I am predicting right now, Yash is going to be in a BB Blockbuster challenge, much like Tucker, and it's just going to happen to be a maze. And instead of I really like puzzles, we are going to get a I really like mazes. Weirdly enough, speaking of competitions, he also talks about wanting the competitions to be inequitable, which is wild to say. He says that he hopes there's no booth competitions and that they're all like physical competitions made for his body type. So, I mean, with the way that Big Brother has been doing their show and their competitions lately, I wouldn't be surprised if Yash gets his dream come true and they're all physical competitions made just for him. A physical maze or something. Going off of just initial judgments, I definitely see him being in a bro alliance. I can see him being buddy buddies with somebody like Rome or Kamu or even Chuk. I can see him getting in a showmance. I'm not sure about how he is going to do strategically and socially at this point. I also get the sense that he could potentially be a pre-jury person that, you know, gets voted out early. Like maybe he gets into the majority power alliance, but somebody from the outside group, the outcasts, wins the HOH and puts all, you know, of the majority alliance people on the block. And I could see Yash being like the person who's at the bottom of the totem pole at that alliance that they're willing to cut loose to make it another week. So we will see how he does. And now it's time to talk about the later announcement, which are other returning players, including Angela.
Surprise, bitch. I bet you thought you saw the last of me.
I am so excited for Angela. I know Angela is a bit controversial within the Big Brother community because some people really hate her and some people really love her. As a person who loves entertainment, I like Angela. I'm sorry. She's fun. She's funny to watch. I'm excited to see her on the screen again because she kind of brings this chaotic energy where you don't know what Angela's going to get up to in there. And I'm so excited to find out. Also, if she's going to have beef again with like some of these big broy athletic guys and knock them down a peg, especially early on, like in her season, she won HOH on the first week. Like let's manifest another Angela first HOH. That could be so fun. But I know this like could be possibly an unpopular opinion because she is unpopular in some areas of the Big Brother community. In some of the Big Brother spaces, they do not like her. But I like entertainment, so I'm going to be here for Angela. I'm also very interested to see how Angela plays coming back a second time because she has talked about how she played the game the first time and how she, you know, got really paranoid and that kind of messed up her whole game was when she decided that she couldn't trust the people that she should have been trusting because she was so paranoid. I'm interested to see how she learned from playing the first time around and how she's going to change up her game this time around and see what she does differently because she's so chaotic and unpredictable. I'm interested to see how playing this time is going to work out for her. Also, maybe some of the people on the cast are fans of her. That could be very beneficial to her going into the game. I think going in with other people like Dee and Devens, I could see her teaming up with them and even Jason. I could see there being loyal Angela fans in the cast that want to work with her. So I don't think Angela is going to be an early boot. I think she can make it pretty far. And if she is coming in with a different mindset to try and get herself further in the game, I'm interested to see. Now, I haven't seen any interviews with Angela, Dee, or Devens yet, so this is just me speculating based off of nothing. Overall, I'm excited about it because I'm here for the entertainment. Next up, we have Dee from Survivor. Both Dee and Devens recently competed on Survivor 50. Dee won her season of Survivor, and I think Dee is going to be a really strong player going into the game. Honestly, I could see Dee making it all the way to the end. I think she's a very good, well-rounded player. I think she's the type of person that is open to being in an alliance with anybody, and she is a super good physical competitor. I think she's going to be good at competitions, and I can see her running this game. I love to watch a girly run the game. So overall, I'm very high hopes for Dee and how she's going to play. I know things didn't really work out for her on Survivor 50, but we will see coming into the house. Also, it depends on who else in the Big Brother house are Survivor fans and who would know who she is. That could possibly be her biggest obstacle in the early game, is downplaying her threat level. If people have seen her on Survivor, or if even they've just heard of her and they catch wind that she has won before, I think that's going to put a major target on her back early on, because I know if I was in that house and I know that somebody else has already been on another show and already won $1 million, I say get her out of here if I was playing the game. But she also is going in with major advantage because she has other people coming in from other reality shows. They might possibly work together, and she might also have fans within the house who will want to work with her. So honestly, I would be very surprised if she doesn't make it very far in the game. And I could be completely wrong. She could disappoint me, but I do see good things for her happening within the game of Big Brother. And lastly, I will talk about the last Survivor player that we know of so far, Rick Devens. Now, as we know on my channel, I'm kind of new to the world of Survivor. I have only been going back and watching a bunch of seasons for the first time, and I've only seen a few of the more recent ones live. So I am unfamiliar with Rick Devens in his original season. I was looking in the online spaces to see how people feel about Rick Devens because my only impression of him has been through Survivor 50. And I see that quite a lot of people don't like Rick Devens and a lot of people do. So I'm interested to know why people don't like Rick Devens and if it's maybe from the way he played in his first season. I do want to go back and obviously see, but I really enjoyed him on Survivor 50 and I'm really excited, much like Angela, who I think is going to bring a lot of entertainment and fun into the house. I think Rick Devens is going to also do that because he really is the type of person that is going to do whatever it takes to try and get further in the game. He's not afraid to take big risks and he knows how to make good TV. Like he knows why we the viewers are watching the show, and that is to see a great TV show. So he is a person to make a really flashy move to make good TV, and I'm here for it. So I'm excited to see him play the game of Big Brother and to see how he's going to do in there. I hope we see some flashy moves. Like Rick Devens does not give me the vibes of somebody who's going to win HOH and play it safe, which is the sense that I got from him in watching Survivor 50. The man was doing whatever it takes to claw his way into another day within Survivor. On Survivor 50, he had that big moment of like the Mr. Beast coin flip where he basically took a risk to put his fate in the game up to a coin toss. Big Brother players, I think in recent seasons, have been really scared to make moves and take risks. So I'm excited that Devens is playing, and I'm interested to see how he gets in there and plays Big Brother. I think overall with people like Jason, Devens, Dee, and Angela, they can all get in there and hopefully they turn up the energy in terms of people wanting to get in there and just being ready to play and to make moves and to not play it safe, because I think that's what makes for a great Big Brother season, is people strategizing and playing the game and doing whatever it takes to get themselves another week in the game. So as of right now, what I'm going to do is I am going to pick 2 players. I think it is most fair if I pick 2 players from the newbie group and 1 player from the returning kind of veterans group. And that will be my draft team. For right now, I am going to list out the people I'm most excited to see in terms of who I think I'm going to be rooting for and who I just think I'm going to end up liking as players and as people. And then from that list, I'm going to choose my 3 members of my draft, which we will see in the future when I do my mid-season check-in, just how wrong I probably am going to be about everything. I think this is what's going to be really fun about this video, is that the people I pick could be extremely disappointing. And maybe by the time I do my mid-season check-in, my entire draft team could be voted out of the house. So this will be very embarrassing in the future if I chose wrong. But as for who I'm really liking and who I think I'm going to be rooting for based off of these first impressions, I really like Ashley, Barrett, Chuk, Jason, Latrice, and Taylor. And I'm excited about all 3 of Angela, Devens, and Dee, just because I think they're going to make for some good TV. So altogether, I'm more so excited about a lot of the cast than I am not excited. There's a few people in there that I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to end up liking them. But I think overall, I think I got a handful of people that hopefully don't disappoint me. And then for my official draft, I am going to be choosing. I definitely want to pick Barrett just because he is such a super fan. I think as a super fan, he can make it really far in the game just because he knows the game so well. And I can trust that he's going to do whatever it takes to stick around. As for my second pick, I think it is between Latrice and Ashley. I was really liking both of them, and I really hope both of them make it far, but I can't pick everybody in this draft. So I don't know. I think I'm going to choose Ashley. I think she has more potential to win, especially towards the end game than Latrice, and I could be completely wrong, and honestly, I hope I am, because Latrice is probably one of my favorite people of the preseason. But in terms of me trying to win this personal draft, I think Ashley might give me a better chance to win. And my one pick from the returning veterans, I think I'm going to pick D, because I think from what I've seen of D, she's not going to be a first boot. And if I'm wrong, this is going to be so embarrassing. But I think D is going to come in. She's going to play hard. I think she's going to be able to form connections with a lot of people. She's definitely good at competitions. So those are my three players. We will check back in probably in the mid-season, most definitely at the end of the season, to see how wrong I am. Right now, I am basking in the hope and excitement of the Big Brother preseason. I'm always so hopeful at the beginning of the season before my hopes and dreams either get crushed by production antics or the players not doing what I want them to do. So as of right now, I'm enjoying this. I know there's a couple of other things that I could talk about, including the Blockbuster competition coming back, and I kind of have mixed feelings about the Blockbuster. I like it for the most part in the sense that I think it makes the eviction episodes so much more fun, and I also like it that it kind of forces the house guests to have to continue to play the game through the rest of the week, when a lot of times during the regular weeks of Big Brother, we see that they kind of write off the two people who are on the block. And a lot of times the person who everyone knows that they're going to vote out kind of gets outcasted for the rest of the week, while everyone else is sort of making plans for the future week. And one thing I like about the Big Brother Blockbuster is that them not knowing who is going to be sitting on the block on eviction night forces them to have to talk to all three of the nominees, and also forces them to have to make plans with all three of the nominees, because one of those nominees is going to be a person who is able to vote on eviction night, and you could very possibly well need that person's vote. The thing I don't like about the Blockbuster is that it makes things so competition focused. It could be very frustrating when there's a person who has really only been sticking around simply because they are good at competitions and they're just kind of winning their way to the next week. It's boring to watch. I also don't like the way that they do the Blockbuster in the episode. This is Big Brother editors, if you're listening. You're probably not, because you keep it the same every season, but they should either let the house guests watch the Blockbuster on the screen so the house guests are aware of who wins right off the bat, or once a person wins the Blockbusters, announce so-and-so won the Blockbuster. What they always do is they cut to a commercial, and then they come back, and then we have this long sequence of the Blockbuster people walking down the stairs, Julie making the announcement, and then we got to watch everybody hug for 5 minutes instead of like strategizing. And I think what production should do is let them all get their hugs and whatnot out of the way during the commercial break, and then when we come back from the commercial break, production should be encouraging them to like strategize during that time period. I want to see people doing what Rachel was doing last year, which is like, you have a few minutes to try and get as many votes as you can. I want to see people have that sort of energy. If they make that change, I will be more happy with the Blockbuster. I also want to talk about something that's been rumored to come back, because in a house tour video, Julie basically alludes to a possible return of the iconic Big Brother key wheel, which I'm excited and not excited about. And this might be a hot take. This might be an unpopular opinion, because as much as I feel like the key wheel is classic Big Brother, and I understand why people like it, like, you are totally allowed to root for the return of the key wheel, go ahead. I just have no confidence in the way the Big Brother editors edit the episodes. In the end, if they do bring back the key wheel, I'm not going to like it, because I feel like they're going to eat up so much episode time with the key wheel. I could just see it now of like the the one by one, and then cutting to diary room clips, and then cutting to reaction shots. And it's going to be like 10 minutes of watching every single person pull the wheel and be like, thank you, HOH, so-and-so. You were safe. What I think they should do, because I'm all for bringing back the key wheel. If I was in the house, I would be so excited for the return of the key wheel. I'd be sad at the nomination ceremony for the key wheel. So fun. But if they're going to bring back the key wheel, they got to change the way they edit the episodes, because I don't want the key wheel to eat up precious episode time when they could be showing us strategy and what's actually going on in the house. What I think they should do is find a way to condense the name calling one by one and then just play up towards the end of the key wheel when you get to like the final 3 people and it's like whose name is the last key. That's when we can do a dramatic edit, play up the suspense, show the reaction shots. But I do not want to see one by one everybody call a name. If they could condense that together and clip it up really fast, I wouldn't mind. So that's just something to think about. And it could be an unpopular opinion because I know a lot of people would be ecstatic for the return of the key wheel. And you know what? You're so valid for that. But I'm just saying, don't get too excited because the editors a lot of times disappoint us. Overall, I think it's going to be a fun season. I hope, I'm manifesting that the season is going to be fun. Let's have a good, entertaining time. The season is most likely already underway, and I'm sure that our opinions about certain people have already been changed. So let me know what you think of the house guests below. Who would you pick in your draft? Let's talk Big Brother in the comments. Thank you once again for watching this video. If you like this video, please leave me a like. If this is your first time watching me, you should click on my channel and check out some of my other stuff. I do quite a variety of different things on this channel, so it's not all reality TV, but I do love reality TV and I do talk about it quite a bit. And if you like some of that other stuff, you might want to subscribe to my channel so you always know when I post a new video. And with all that being said, thank you once again for watching all the way through the end of this video. I will see you in the next one.